Hello there, I'm Chris, and this is Holonet News, the place where every other Thursday I am abducted from my home and brought here to Coruscant to give the news. So, hey, Kevin, thanks for coming in. So, if I look blurry, it's because I'm not even in the same galaxy right now. But we do have some news to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. Right now, they are over on, I believe it's StarWars.com, if I'm right. They are doing a sweepstakes. So it says, choose your destiny and get a chance to board the Halcyon Star Cruiser, walk the path of the Jedi, channel the dark side with the Sith. It says, are you Jedi like your father before you, or do you align with the dark side of the Force and the Lords of the Sith? Following the epic conclusion of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new Star Wars limited series streaming only on Disney Plus, fans will choose their own destiny with plethora of Star Wars products this summer, from lightsaber collectibles to home goods, accessories, and more. Starting today, you can visit the official Choose Your Destiny page to explore exciting new products from around the galaxy, perfect for fans of all ages. It says, to celebrate, one lucky fan wins the chance to live out their Star Wars adventures at Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, build their own custom lightsaber at Savvy's workshop inside Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and enjoy other activities during a 6-day, 5-night vacation at Walt Disney World Resort. Enter the Choose Your Destiny sweepstakes by posting an Instagram reel answering the question, are you team light side or dark side? And using the hashtag Choose Your Destiny sweepstakes. Make sure to follow at Star Wars Life to complete your entry. Sweepstakes ends on September 15th, 2020. So it says that the choice is yours. It says no purchase necessary. Enter sweepstakes between August 15th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Pacific time, which we're already past that time, and September 15th, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're going to enter the sweepstake, this is where you're going to want to enter at. But they did talk about a website about checking out some new products. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, I'll put this up real quick. So here we go. So this is what I've seen so far. So they have the Star Wars Black Series Obi-Wan Kenobi Force Effects Elite Lightsaber. I don't know. Maybe I can click on it. Yeah, I can click on it. All right. For $278.99. So obviously it's going to be a blue. See if it says anything. Limited 2 per customer. Wow. So these aren't the legacy lightsabers. Obviously, these are the Force effects. So let's see if we can, let's take a look at some more. So they do have a Darth Vader one, which I already have a Darth Vader legacy, but I think this one has see, mine, you can't remove the blade. This one you're going to be able to remove the blade, but it comes with stand and everything. Also $278.99. So, I mean, it looks like Vader's. I love the look of it. All right, let's take a look. What's the next one? The next one is Rey Skywalker's Force Effects Elite. So this would be the one that she had at the end. Oh, so it just, okay. So I'd like to see the lightsaber. There we go. So yeah, so one of the few with the yellow blade. I guess it's yellow. I don't know. It's kind of orange to me, but I'm also partially colorblind. So, and then the last one they have is Leia Organa. Oh, this one's a little cheaper, $264.99. So I do like the construction. It almost kind of looks like Luke's, but more of an elegant, like, looking hilt compared to Luke's. But I do like the look of it. So, but yeah, so StarWars.com. Obviously, just go to your Instagram account, and that's where you can enter by hashtag, choose your destiny, and telling whether you're with the Jedi or with the Sith, dark side or light side. So let's move on. So Coming up next, what we got here, let me shut that down. Coming from Bloomberg, troubled Star Wars video game remake shift to new studio. It says the high-profile remake of Knights of the Old Republic will go to Saber Interactive in Eastern Europe. So it says the highly anticipated remake of the video game Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic has a new developer after a bumpy ride. The project, formerly in development at Austin, Texas-based Asbury Media, is now being led by one of Saber's Interactive Eastern Europe studios, according to person familiar with the change who asked not to be identified because the details are private. Both developers are owned by the Swedish company Embracer Group AB, which obliquely referenced the pivot in a public statement last week. A representative for Embracer didn't immediately have a comment. The transition shuts down any lingering hope within Asprey that it may be able to continue leading the project. Bosses at the studio, which had been developing the remake for more than 2 years, told staff last month that the game was on pause as the company tried to figure out what to do next. Bloomberg reported the message left open the possibility that Asprey could one day reclaim a leadership role, but rumors quickly swirled among employees that Saber was taking over. So I did play a little bit of that game. I didn't get really into it as much as so, and I wish I would have, because it sounds like it's an amazing game. And I've heard lots of people who'd said that they had played Knights of the Old Republic. And I do know some, and if I believe right, I think Revan comes from the Knights of Old Republic. I might be wrong on that. So if I am, somebody should let me know, because I don't know that much about the Knights of the Old Republic. All right. So speaking of, the whole thing of them giving away a chance to stay on the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser, the Halcyon, it says Disney nearly doubles price of Galactic Star Cruiser experience. I mean, it wasn't it high enough? It says perhaps one of the biggest additions to the Walt Disney World Resort came in the form of the flashy, incredible, ambitious Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. While many exciting things are happening across the entire resort, like the upcoming Tron roller coaster at Magic Kingdom or the brand new Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind roller coaster at Epcot, none really compare to what Disney is trying to do with its Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. So part of the Star Wars Galaxy Edge expansion, which opened in 2019 at Disney Hollywood Studios, this state-of-the-art hotel is advertised as an incredible immersive experience, allowing guests to live out their very own Star Wars adventure while aboard on the Corellian-made Halcyon Star Cruiser. Since its initial launch, the experience has been praised for its immersive and overall quality, though there are still issues that Disney will continue to iron out. This experience comes at quite a cost, though, so be sure to have your galactic credits ready. The price to fly is nearly $6,000 per room, which is a cost that may price even the biggest Star Wars fans out. Considering this is only a 2-night adventure, this does, however, include food costs, room and board, entertainment, a visit to Batuu Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Disney Hollywood Studios, and more. And to add the already huge costs, one of the add-on experiences just went up in price. Along with the creative dining experience on board, the Star Cruiser also offers guests a luxury dining experience in the form of the Captain's Table. Here, guests can sit down and get ready for an especially memorable dining experience. Guests are promised extra courses, which include the Captain's favorite dish, all while seated in a prime location in the center of the Crown of Corellia dining room. So, of course, this comes at an additional cost, which just so happens to have hit with a price increase. This was unfortunate, confirmed in tweets from reporter Scott Gustin earlier today. It says the cost of the Captain's dinner used to be $30 per guest, but it will cost guests $50 each. While this experience is optional, we still hate to see it hit with a price bump, something that many have felt is all too common at the Disney parks and resorts of late. So, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I have a feeling that possibly the captain could be dining by himself, is what it sounds like. I would say. I mean, it's just as long as people keep paying this, Disney's going to keep raising. That's just the way it is. If they know you're going to pay it, they're going to see if you'll pay more. So, next up, this comes from Digital Fix. George Lucas comments on how Star Wars was abused, and it goes viral. So, comments made by George Lucas in which he described how the success of the Star Wars movies have been abused have resurfaced, and they've got fans talking. Lucas' explanation, which he gave in an interview with journalist Charlie Rose back in 2015, goes into detail about how his science fiction movie helped to damage creativity in filmmaking. Specifically, Lucas reflected on the way in which Hollywood has become increasingly risk averse with a focus on sequels and reboots rather than new proprieties and new IPs. He said the other thing about the success of Star Wars that got abused, naturally in a capitalist society, the studio said, wow, we can make a lot of money. This is a license to kill, and they did it. He went on to say, now if you do anything that's not a sequel, they won't do it. That's the downside of Star Wars, and it really shows an enormous lack of imagination and a fear of creativity. Lucas also took the time to explain the reason why his epic space adventure movies were so successful, sharing his belief that the series flourished because of its creativity and bold decisions. The director said, you've got to remember Star Wars came from nowhere. There was nothing like it. That is true. Lucas certainly makes a good point about the dominance of sequels, spin-offs, and established franchises over original releases. In fact, since he originally made the comment back in 2015, that dominance has only become more prominent. So far, the top 10 in the worldwide box office results for 2022 are all either sequels, reboots, adaptations of popular video games, or superhero movies. However, box office numbers aren't the only metric for success, and even the Star Wars franchise itself has struggled in recent years, with many putting that down to lack of creativity and an unwillingness to be bold. What's more, some keen-eyed audience might take issue with Lucas's idea that Star Wars was completely original and came from nowhere. So, and it says, amen, Dune, anyone. So, I mean, I don't remember Dune being anything close to what A New Hope was. So but yeah, so but then to me, I understand because it the whole idea was what Lucas had was going to be impossible to make in one movie. So that's why he did it. But I do see that now. It seems like everything has to have a sequel. But I've watched some movies and they say they're going to have a sequel, and sometimes I'm like, this movie was great by itself. I don't even see a reason to have a sequel for this movie. So, and sometimes the sequel even cheapens the original if the sequel doesn't do well. All right, so this next news comes from Screen Rant, and it's Star Wars is finally solving a Return of the Jedi mystery. In the latest issue of Marvel's Star Wars: The Mystery of the Rebellion Imperial Shuttle and beginning to be revealed before Return of the Jedi, it says, the latest issue of Marvel's Star Wars series may be solving a mystery from Return of the Jedi. While the Rebellion is back to fighting form following the Battle of Hoth, as seen in The Empire Strikes Back, they still have a ways to go before they can get rid of the galaxy of the Empire's oppression. However, this new issue is teasingly that the rebels are about to gain a significant resource that helps them infiltrate the Empire's operation on the forest moon of Endor. So yeah, the Return of the Jedi. Previously in Marvel Star Wars, the rebellion had been scattered after the Battle of Hoth. Likewise, the Empire was relentless in its attempts to hunt down and wipe out the rebellion once and for all, having decrypted the communications and preventing them from regrouping without drawing the Imperial Navy. While it took time and a significant battle against Grand Moff Tarkin's protege, Commander Zara, the rebellion has finally managed to reform the new Star Wars number 26 from writer Charles Soule and artist. In this new issue, the rebellion sends an epic message to the Empire that they're far from defeated, bombing a military parade on Imperial Unity Day while suffering 0 casualties. However, this issue also reveals that the construction has secretly begun on the second Death Star. While the rebellion currently has no idea that a new battle station is being built, it revealed that Crimson Dawn Lady Kira from Solo has 2 agents embedded within the Imperial Black Site, giving orders to cause chaos for the Empire. These agents decide to flee the unfinished battle station and warn the rebels, escaping in an Imperial shuttle, which may be the very same ship used by the rebels to sneak past the Imperial blockades and Return of the Jedi. Wow. So it seems as though this stolen shuttle is indeed the Tidarium, the same one used by the Rebel ground team who tasked with shutting down the second Star Wars shield generator on Andor. At any rate, it's going to be exciting to see all pieces come together for the final film in the original trilogy. Perhaps a future issue will see the mission headed by Bothan spies to secure the plan for the second Death Star. Of course, Rogue One was showing them getting the plans for the first Death Star, and I think they should. I think they should do another a movie like Rogue One, but of the Bothans getting the actual plans to the second Death Star. I think that would be just as interesting as what Rogue One was. But I think that would be great. And the thing is I don't know if they could butt it right up the beginning, because at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, obviously you see Luke getting ready to go into I'm sorry, that's a deleted scene. I believe it actually, I can't remember how it starts. It's been a while. I'll have to rewatch it. Right off the top of my head, I can't think. But let's see, what do we got next? So we have a little top 10 here that we can look at, and it's Star Wars 10 cool villains. This comes from Screen Rant. Villains who were completely wasted. So they said number 10 is Grand Moff Tarkin. I don't know if completely wasted, because Grand Moff Tarkin was in the Clone Wars, was in the Bad Batch. So I think we're getting to see a little bit more of Tarkin. And if I'm right, I think they actually wrote a book about it. Number 9 is Director Krennic from Rogue One, who I think was a great bad guy, obviously. But yeah, I think if he would have had more roles leading up to it, and maybe he will in Andor, I think Director Krennic was a great villain, and maybe still has more of a role for the movie, or for the series Andor. The third sister, Reva. Well, from what I understand, they're talking about doing a spin-off series with Reva from Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I don't know about that. The Grand Inquisitor. I mean, the Grand Inquisitor obviously was in Rebels. Of course, that was animation, but and then we got to see him in live form there in Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, which actually, in the timeline, Obi-Wan Kenobi comes before Rebels. So that's why people were upset when they thought the Grand Inquisitor was dead. I'm sorry if you hadn't seen Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I just kind of blew it for you. But it has also been long enough that it shouldn't be a spoiler. Supreme Leader Snoke. This one was a big waste. I truly believe there was so much potential with this character, and they just kind of just threw him away. So I think there could have been so much more there with the story of Snoke, and he was just a clone that was being controlled by the Emperor, which I think is a horrible story for this character. 5, Captain Phasma. Now, I have heard they're talking about something about a possibility for Phasma to show up. And, I thought Phasma was going to be that breakout character for the sequel trilogies, and it really turned out that they did not use that character to its full potential. And I think that it was just horrible. I think maybe there should be a series leading up to how she became who she is at that time for the First Order. But Captain Phasma, obviously, everybody thought this was going to be the breakout character, and it just was kind of disappointing once you watch the movies. Darth Maul. Now, Darth Maul, I mean, come on. I think Darth Maul, I don't think he was a wasted character. I mean, of course, we thought he died in Phantom Menace. Then he comes back in the Clone Wars. He's gone all the way up to Rebels. He makes an appearance in Solo. Obviously, he wasn't wasted. But the other thing is from what I understand, Lucas's original plan for the sequel trilogies was that Maul was actually supposed to be the villain for those three, but Disney chose not to go with Lucas's plan for the last three movies of the Skywalker saga. Count Dooku. Now, I don't know. Count Dooku I thought was a great in all of the, obviously Attack of the Clones and of course Revenge of the Sith. Of course, he didn't live long, but they used his character a lot in Clone Wars, and even though I don't think it was the actor who actually did the voice in Clone Wars, but the character was well thought out. There's lots of backstory on the character from where it came from. We all know that when he was a Jedi, he was Qui-Gon Jinn's master, and they built a big story around him. So I don't know if I would say he was a waste. So Jango Fett. See, now Jango Fett, that once again, there's a whole entire story to that. Hey, Nathan, thanks for coming in. But Jango Fett, I don't see him being a wasted villain because, I mean, Jango Fett, like I said, had a backstory, everything. He's got a purpose for being there. And due to the fact, yeah, he gets killed off in Attack of the Clones. But once again, this is just part of the story. And then their last one is Allegiant General Pride. Well, okay, so he didn't really show up until the Rise of Skywalker. So there really wasn't any way of building this character since his first appearance is in the very last movie. So I would say, I could see if they do something that falls into those sequel trilogies, series and stuff, that General Pride could probably show up again, maybe. Who knows? I have no idea, but obviously he's the one who turned against Hux when finding out Hux was the leak. So let's see what we got next. Okay, so a little bit of merchandise. I think we may have showed this, but I'm going to show it again. So this comes from WDW News Today, and let me see if I can. Yeah. So new R5 or R2 W50 with this is the 50th anniversary interactive Star Wars droid at Walt Disney World. So let me see. Wow, I love the box. Let me pop that up for you. So yeah, right there he is. I love the 50th anniversary box he's in. His colors are of the same as the 50th anniversary. This is amazing. I love how it looks. $114.99. So really, is it that bad? I'm not for sure. I don't know how much it costs to build a droid. Maybe it's just, I think it's only $100. But to buy one that's already built for you and everything and looks like this, and probably it's going to be worth something after sitting on your shelf for a long period of time. So, but yeah, I think it looks amazing. I was looking down. There's another picture of it sitting there in front of some of the 50th anniversary merch. And closer looks. I think he looks amazing. I would love to have one, an art, but it is shaped like a standard R2 unit. Well, I mean, yeah, it's an R2 unit. So, but I think he looks amazing. The R2 W50. So, of course, being, either Walt 50 or representing that. But I love the colors on him because, like I said, it's the iridescent colors, just like what the Disney characters have. And then I love the look of the box. I probably wouldn't take him out. This one I'd probably leave in the box. I think most of you know that when it comes to stuff like that, I'm usually a box out guy, but I don't know. Or if I took him out, I just keep the box to put him back up just to put put him on display, but he looks amazing. I love how he looks. So let's go on. All right. So this comes from Screen Rants. I don't know if you ever checked out Screen Rants. Screen Rants does a lot of stuff on Star Wars, and I think they do Marvel. I'm not for sure, but they are a YouTube channel as well. But Star Wars Force powers only Jedis can use. That's weird. So let's see. I'm looking to see. So healing is one of them, which I don't think we're really seeing the healing, the Force use of healing until the Rise of Skywalker. So, but it may, I think in the books you could have read about healing and stuff like that, but obviously it was more used more times there in Rise of Skywalker than anything. Projection, which is another one we didn't see till Rise of Skywalker, of course. It wasn't Rise of Skywalker. It was, yes, it was. Was it Rise of Skywalker? God, I see these newer movies. I don't remember them because I only watched them like a few times. Where the old movies I've seen like hundreds of times. I'm trying to think. Is it? It is Rise of Skywalker. So I think, or no, it is not. It's not Rise of Skywalker. It is The Last Jedi. So this is obviously what they're talking about is projecting. He projected himself across the galaxy. So I don't think a lot of people understand that Luke is the only one to become one with the Force without actually dying. So that's what had happened to Luke whenever he projected himself across the galaxy. Absorb. We've seen Yoda absorb Force lightning. And of course, I think we've actually seen him throw it back too. Immortality. So of course they're talking about the whole entire thing about becoming a Force ghost, becoming one with the Force once you've passed away. And we've seen several characters from Star Wars do this, but obviously it's something you have to learn because we know that Qui-Gon comes back and teaches Yoda and teaches Obi-Wan, who teaches, of course, Anakin and Luke, and obviously Leia, because she also, let's see, Moricho, first appearing in Legends, but having been brought. Okay, so this wasn't something that you would see. I think this is basically a Force ability that Yaddle, who was the female of the Yoda species, she was said that she was able to slow down her enemy's heart without actually killing them. And I think that and they said she was one of the only few who could actually do it. So, but I think it's not something that was in the movies or anything like that. It's more, I think it's in a book is what it is. So, and I think what it says, Star Wars character encyclopedia. So they probably talk about it now. I think I have that encyclopedia actually. Force binding debuted in Star Wars canon 2021 novel, The High Republic, Into the Dark. A seemingly simple ability, Force binding allows Jedis to limit the corrupting influence of a dark side artifact for the safety of others. Okay, I've never heard of this, but I think it has to do with the books that were put out, and I don't think they did very well, but I may be wrong because I didn't read them. But those are the 10 abilities they say that only Jedis can use. All right. So this one coming up, this is about the new episode the new series that's going to be coming out here pretty soon, Andor. But it says, this comes from Gizmodo. Star Wars Andor explains the folly of the Empire. So let's see. It says, I saw the TV glow. Coming soon reports. Wow, I don't understand. It's not really talking about anything. Oh, it's got a spoiler warning. Okay. So I'll read what I can. It says Jamil dressed as the how's that morning spoilers? I'm trying to see what this is. It's really not showing much of anything. Okay, I guess we're going to skip that one. All right. So there are some new Star Wars comics. I've never really got into the comics, but I have watched some YouTubers who do they do the comics and actually do stuff, so you actually feel like you're watching something while they're reading the comics. And I think Star Wars Theory does this best because he does voices and everything like that. But it says Star Wars comics this week: Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, and Hyperspace Stories. And I don't either. Dr. Aphra is a female that has something to do with Vader, or it is the doctor that was in, I'm trying to think, in the cantina in A New Hope with Luke and Ben cut off Dr. Aphra's friend's arm or hand or whatever you want to call it. So it's not just any old new comic book day for Star Wars fans, because a new era of Star Wars comics starts this week. Not only can we look forward to some tried and true Marvel books this week, but a new line of Dark Horse comics began today. Oh, wow, Dark Horse comics. Of course, there are also some new releases on Marvel Unlimited. If you've been waiting for the digital side, and there's a trade paperback available for those who like to read in that format. So it says new Star Wars comic, Darth Vader, number 26, Dr. Aphra, number 23, and Hyperspace Stories, number 1. So Hyperspace Stories being a very new comic book coming out. It's no secret how Anakin feels about sand, but did that aversion carry over to the man now known as Darth Vader? The Dark Lord's unlikely new ally, Sabe, or I don't know how to say that, has gone missing, and Vader must confront his own dark heart in the maelstrom of a sandstorm. Does Vader have a skill from childhood that may help him in an unexpected way? So I guess it's just in this issue exclusive to StarWars.com preview, Vader is seen riding a pod racer once more and plunging into the sand, protecting waves. He once remarked of pod racing, "I'm the only human who can do it." If Darth Vader number 26 is any indication, that remains true. So, Dr. Aphra, written by, it says, over the Dark Horse, the first in a new line of comics arrives with Hyperspace Stories. In the first issue of the all-age comic, a Republic mission goes wrong when Senator Padme Amidala and her crew are abducted by General Grievous. Anakin Skywalker and Obi Kenobi jump to the rescue. However, the rescue operation goes awry, and the Jedi are surrounded by an army of battle droids. It's the height of the Clone Wars. That sounds interesting. That sounds like a really good comic book. So, but yeah, those are, I have comic books, but I don't think I have any Star Wars comic books. So here we go. Midichlorians. I don't know if very many people know exactly what it is, but we do have something here, and this is from CBR.com. What exactly are midichlorians Star Wars? And it says midichlorians were introduced in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace as a way to gauge the force-sensitive power of somebody but what exactly are they? It says in the original Star Wars trilogy, much of the Force was kept shrouded in mystery, and while this still is the case, far more is known about it than before, especially since the introduction of midichlorians. Some fans have a distaste for the concept, believing it removes the mystical nature of the Force, but that didn't stop director George Lucas from mentioning the mysterious life forms numerous times. However, midichlorians are never explained in full detail, so what exactly are they? It says a common misconception is that the midichlorians and the Force are one and the same. This is because Star Wars: A New Hope, Obi-Wan says the Force is what gives Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. And then in Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon explains the midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides in all living cells, which sounds awfully close to Obi-Wan's description of the Force. Yet the Force and the midichlorians are two separate concepts that happen to communicate with each other. The Force is still an unknown energy that seemingly has a will of its own and allows for the use of the typical Force powers, whereas midichlorians are simply a life form that allows their host to connect to this energy. They live in the cells of living being, creating a symbiotic relationship with their host and providing the gifts of force sensitivity. And so it also means that the more midichlorians someone has in their cells, the stronger their connection to the force is. So in the current Star Wars canon, on average midichlorian count hasn't been provided, but in Legends, the average person had around 2,500 per cell, whereas Jedis would typically range around 7,000 to 15,000. This is still assumed to be the case by most fans and makes sense when compared to Anakin's power and midichlorian count. After Qui-Gon Jinn gives him a blood test, he detects over 20,000 per cell, saying even Master Yoda doesn't have a midichlorian count that high. Qui-Gon had an obsession with understanding Force, which led his knowledge of the midichlorians. He believed they continually speak to us, telling us the will of the Force, and it was through this knowledge he became the first Jedi to retain consciousness after death. During Star Wars The Clone Wars, his ghostly voice speaks to Yoda, saying that through the midichlorians, he learned that the Force is made up of two parts, the living Force and the cosmic Force. So that's pretty amazing. I love the whole idea of that. And, obviously it brings up a lot of questions about that. So it seems like we're getting a lot of these from Screen Rants, but we got another one from Screen Rant. The Mandalorian Season 3 Mandalore update supports a Star Wars theory. So it says, based on recent comments by series creator and director Jon Favreau, one theory about The Mandalorian Season 3 centering on a new civil war may be true. Set to releasing for streaming at Disney Plus in February 2023, The Mandalorian Season 3 will continue the adventures of Mandalore Din Djarin and his adopted son Grogu. It says, although Duo was separated at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, Din clearly missed Grogu when he appeared in the Book of Boba Fett Season 1, Episode 5, Return of the Mandalorian. During the Book of Boba Fett finale, Din and Grogu were reunited, setting up their renewed relationship for The Mandalorian Season 3. So even with Din Djarin and Grogu together again, The Mandalorian Season 3 will still look different from earlier seasons. Previously, Din's objective had been returning Grogu to the Jedi. Now that Grogu has chosen to stay with his adopted father, Din's goal will shift. At the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, Din rescued Grogu from Moff Gideon with the help of Bo-Katan Kryze, a Mandalorian who wanted to reunite Mandalore under her rule. Unfortunately, Din accidentally became the rightful leader of Mandalore by defeating Moff in combat and winning the Darksaber. Due to this, many viewers have theorized that the central conflict of The Mandalorian Season 3 will be a Mandalorian civil war. Although Din never wanted to rule, Bo-Katan needs to challenge and defeat him to reclaim the Darksaber. So, although a civil war seems like the natural progression of events for the Mandalorian, there was no evidence for the theory until recently in an interview. Favreau revealed the Mandalorian Season 3 storyline details, which may have confirmed the Civil War theory. He explained that there are many factions of Mandalorians, each with their own rules. While these groups have been scattered and exiled, the Mandalorian Season 3 will see them coming together. The nexus point for all of those communities, meaning Mandalore, this will provide many opportunities for ideologies and opinions on who should lead Mandalore to clash, easily sparking another Mandalorian civil war. This would take the series in a new direction, allowing the Mandalorian Season 3 to delve deeper into both Din Djarin's character and the Mandalorian culture, which I've always wanted to know more and more of the Mandalorian culture, and that's why I love that they actually put this series out. So let's see, what do we got next? So one of the things I don't have on here that I do know, there has the Acolyte, which is going to be a new series. I don't know when it comes out, but they said that there's been leaks already and I think they've already leaked what the first episode is going to be about. Now, I don't know much about this. I don't know what the stories are going to be about. I have heard there's possibilities of some Star Wars characters being in it. I think they've even talked about maybe Yoda. I know they said Darth Plagueis, so I think it would be awesome to be able to see Darth Plagueis on the screen for the first time. But this is some stuff I've heard, and I think that would be awesome. But let's see. Here we go. So this comes from Collider. Andor and Diego Luna and Tony Gilroy are bringing a life to a new and relevant Star Wars story. So, from creator showrunner Tony Gilroy, the 12-episode first season of the Disney Plus series Andor is set 5 years before the events of Rogue One and follows Cassian Andor Diego Luna on his journey towards becoming a rebel hero. While it might seem like he was a long way to go before he gets there, every resolution has to start somewhere, and Cassian will have to figure out the place in the fight against the Empire. So, during the conference to promote the series that is set to last for 24 episodes over 2 seasons, Gilmore and Luna, who's also an executive producer, talked about his new perspective on the Star Wars galaxy, expanding Cassian Andor's story. What makes the story so relevant to today, the dedicated Star Wars community, how physically challenging the stunts can be, what it means to be part of the series, and what sets Andor apart from other Star Wars shows. So I'm kind of really I'm excited about this. And I've seen some of the trailers, and I don't know if they tease K2SO or if K2SO actually comes in. After Rogue One, K2SO became one of my favorite droid characters. So I would love to see K2SO back again, but then again, are they going to be able to get I can't remember his name. I know he's considered the voice of Disney, but I'll probably think about it after shut the stream off. But I would love to see K2SO come back. So let's see. This will be the last one for tonight, and we'll be shutting down a little bit early. I'm only going to run the stream as long as what we have for news. John Boyega, not looking to return to Star Wars, acknowledges Disney's improvement in combating racism. So John Boyega has indicated that he currently has no plans to return to the Star Wars franchise, though he fully expects Finn's story to be told in other mediums. Boyega also took a moment to acknowledge Disney Lucasfilm effort to address the online racism, a vast improvement in the years since his experience with it. Since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker in 2019, John Boyega has gone back and forth on the idea of reprising his star-making role as Finn. In May 2020, he expressed a significant amounts of enthusiasm for the idea of returning. If behind-the-scenes talent like Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams were to return, or if his fellow lead Daisy Ridley and Oscar Isaac return as Rey and Poe Dameron. However, in September of that same year, he notably expressed frustration at how he felt sidelined both in the marketing for The Force Awakens and with a decreased amount of importance to the story of The Last Jedi and Rise of the Skywalker. A month later, after he spoke with Lucasfilm about his concerns, he seemed open to the idea of telling a Disney Plus story, adapting the planned Coruscant liberation narrative that Colin Trevorrow canceled Star Wars script would have utilized. This despite previously saying he had no interest in doing a Disney Plus series while on the press tour for The Rise of Skywalker. There is a nuisance to these statements, of course, as some deals and retrospects thoughts on marketing and stories and other pertain to the future, so keep that in mind. So, the only thing I know that he might be talking about is I think they removed his character from posters, but that was over in China. But other than that, I mean, I do feel like his story was kind of thrown to the side, and I wish they would have built more heavier. And I think that's what it is. That's the whole problem with these. I mean, The Force Awakens, I love The Force Awakens. I do. And, but they did not build that relationship between Finn, Rey, and Poe like they did between Luke, Leia, and Han. and you really just did not feel it. And they failed at that. They failed at making that bond with those characters. And you just didn't really feel like they were as close as what you felt like Han, Luke, and Leia were. And that story really did not do anything to bring them together. And I think that is one of the problems with the sequel trilogy. I really think it is. And I mean, due to the fact that it seems like sometimes stories were changed and stuff was thrown out, and it seemed like sometimes it contradicted itself. But I really felt like they really need to build the relationship up between those characters, and they failed at that. So I think that's going to be it. Thank you all for joining me, and don't forget that tomorrow Margie and I will be doing Disney updates at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And in case you guys don't know, and I'll probably tell this tomorrow on tomorrow's live stream, we will be doing for Tuesday, we're going to be doing theme park trivia. So, all right. So I think that's going to do it. Once again, thank you all for joining me. I hope you find this, I guess, valuable, entertaining. I don't know. But as for that, I hope the force is with you, and I hope you have a good night. We'll see you later. Bye.